What is up, everybody? I hope you guys are having an okay day. I know it's a little bit difficult to do that right now. Quite the shit show in the crypto markets today. You can kind of look even through my timeline here. It was just a little bit insane to watch. Obviously, FTX, pretty large exchange with Sam Friedman, essentially insolvent, and users over the past day or so, it's almost like a bank run. Everybody trying to withdraw at once, and they halted withdrawals. We did get some clarity that Binance and CZ are basically going to be acquiring the FTX trading exchange after some due diligence checks. But man, it was a nightmare today. We're going to kind of run through all of this to the best of my capabilities. First and foremost, I will say I had stated that I believed that the local bottom was back in June, and I was obviously incorrect with my assumptions. That happens. I've never claimed to be a TA guru whatsoever or anything. I did think if we were to have bottomed in June, I certainly would have played on that for the next couple of years, but obviously the local bottom not in. If you guys aren't aware, in June we basically hit $17,500 for Bitcoin, and today we went all the way down to like 17,100, somewhere around there. Yeah, 17,174. A couple of things that I'm interested in watching right now. First and foremost, not necessarily concerned with very, very short time frames. I know today I was looking at it just because if you were watching the chart today for Bitcoin, it was insane. I mean, we went all the way down to, it was like 18,000, then it went back up to like 21,000 almost. And now we're sitting right around $18,390. Tons and tons and tons of volatility, tons of fluctuations. I actually am of the opinion that and this totally just my opinion, obviously, I think the FTX and the Binance stuff is just market manipulation at its finest in the crypto market. I think a lot of these moves are predestined and pre-planned by the powers that be as far as these whales. And yeah, I mean, that's just my opinion on it. But, you know, if you were watching the there was a tweet that came out from Sam Friedman from FTX saying that there was some sort of resolution, at least from the acquisition, that Binance was going to acquire FTX. And as soon as that occurred, I mean, within a minute, prices went from like $18,000 Bitcoin back up to $21,000. Now, you know where we're at right now. We're obviously lower than that. But, I mean, come on, guys. This market is vastly freaking manipulated still today. What I'm personally watching, my opinion could be wrong. I'm obviously not a financial advisor. I've never claimed to be any sort of TA guru. I still think that the bottom is going to be in this year. If we haven't seen it yet, I'm not sure if today was it or maybe we have more capitulation incoming. But I still do believe that the bottom is going to be in this year, especially based on, you know, you can't always go based on historical data, obviously, but basing it on like the halvening in 2024, looking at time frames before that, we've done multiple different things in this market that we have not done before, though. So it invalidates a lot of previous aspects. So if I look at this yellow line here, which is the 21 EMA, this is the first time in history that the 21 EMA has crossed below the 210 ever. It's never happened before. Never even gotten close, actually. You can go all the way back here. What I'm also watching on the weekly, I want to watch this weekly close because best case scenario, and I'm not saying this is the scenario that we fall under, I'm not necessarily paying attention to the wicks so much as the candle bodies in correlation with previous price action here. But the best case scenario for me would be potentially this being on or about the double bottom, at least of Bitcoin. We'll see what occurs within that. Worst case scenario, we could be getting very, very dangerously hairy here. Like, you can see where we're at right now. We wicked down below the 300 moving average on the weekly. And we've never closed. Actually, it's the first time in history we've ever wicked below it. You can see this wick right here. We've never closed the candle body below it. I'd be interested to see if we hold this as some sort of support. Obviously, we're back above it. Not by mistake, I'm sure. Back in 2020, we also wicked down and touched the 300, but this is the first time we've ever wicked below it. So I will be interested to watch where we close here. And like I said, best case scenario, potentially this might be the double bottom. that we've been looking for, because if you look back in history, we have had double bottoms. Most of them have taken a little bit longer to get to here. Let's say that's a double bottom here for 2018 to 2020. It took us it took like 426 or 469 days. And if you look back all the way to, let's say, 2015 time frame here, it took like 200 and some days. Let's say 224 days until what we would consider double bottom. We're still a little bit early on that for this cycle, but I mean, who knows? Whenever these things occur, I mean, I'll let price action dictate all that. I will say, if we start closing, if we confirm this week, and the weekly candle was a new low below 17.5, I would expect that we might be going down to like 13.7 range. And again, I'll probably be wrong, but that's just my opinion. Now, it's interesting to look at the total crypto market cap, because I know that that's probably what most of you are concerned about. You really don't care about Bitcoin price action. If you look at the coin market cap today, though, I mean, Bitcoin was pretty much the catalyst within this. Bitcoin was kind of running the gamut with what price action was doing in the market. So, I still care about what Bitcoin does, but I'm looking at the total market cap of all crypto as well. And also a little bit concerning, where if you look back in 2020, we wicked all the way down to the 300, actually a little bit below. Man, if we do something similar like that again, we're not talking about an $870 billion market cap right now. We're talking about, if we were to repeat that, $680 billion market cap at the 300. But again, I don't think it's by mistake. I mean, look last week. We literally, for the first time since breaking below and touching off, April 2022, you can see this wick touching this yellow line right here. That's 21 EMA. This is the first time we've touched it again, all the way in late October here. And what happens the next week after we get rejected? Huge dump. So it'll be interesting to watch. What I will say, like I said, I still certainly have faith in this market. Even if I were to, I did this for like a patron today. I'm not a TA guy. But if I were to pull the fibs and look at where we extended out to, this is the previous bull market, 2018. So 2 bull markets ago. Pull down to the bottom, 4.236. The full fib extension put us right to the top of this market. If we were to duplicate something similar as that during this next cycle, and let's say that for shits and giggles, maybe that June bottom was the bottom for the total crypto market cap, because we did not wick down past below there yet. We went down to 764 billion in June. We're at 816 today is what we wicked down to, and right now we're at 870. So we haven't had anything lower than what we previously had in June. But if you pull the full fib extension out, I mean, you could be looking at a 10 or a $10.5 trillion market cap. I still think that is certainly something that is possible for this next cycle. I still believe that this next cycle is going to come after accumulation ends. Hopefully we don't have some sort of a major capitulation event. You could maybe consider today as being something like that. But if it gets worse, it's going to get way worse, in my opinion. I hope we're still kind of in that accumulation aspect. I hope we get out of it. I'm confident that we'll get out of it, and I'm confident that we'll start seeing some interesting aspects in 2023, 2024, and then maybe peak end of 2024, early to mid 2025. And that's my opinion. It just sucks sometimes when you see so much volatility in this market. And for me, I look at it as opportunities. I'm kind of out of being able to make moves within those opportunities personally. I made a lot of moves back in June. I was looking at like even Quant though, because I picked up Quant at like $43. It's still at like $130 or $140. None of this is financial advice, obviously. I'll get a little bit more into this. But again, I'm watching kind of the higher time frames now. I know that what I had already thought with a local top or local bottom as 17.5 was invalidated, obviously. We definitely went lower than that today, 17.2, 17.1 for Bitcoin. Definitely admit that I'm wrong. But again, I'm literally just a dude on the internet trying to provide research and tell you guys what I'm looking at on a daily basis. Speaking on that, the IMF, and this is Matthew L-I-N-Y gave me a heads up with this probably a couple days ago, asked me to look into this for him. This is this XC platform through the IMF. They just put this out over the past 3 or 4 days here. The XC platform is certainly distributed ledger technology, certainly blockchain, certainly well, we'll see if it's going to be crypto, but a multi-currency exchange and contracting platform. A couple things of note here. Ripple is referenced twice within this. First and foremost, they are referenced at footnote 16, and the second one is at footnote 19. Footnote 16 within this IMF document. There are solutions that leverage stablecoins for fast and inexpensive cross-border payments have also been growing recently, and they give Ripple and Stellar as examples within that. And the second one is footnote 19 here, and it's talking about what projects share is that they use a DLT with tokens representing different national monies and focus on how to move value from one country to another. Also of note within this multi-currency exchange and contracting platform are the authors. Tobias Adrian. Now this is Stetis on Twitter here, but this is Tobias Adrian, I believe, from 2020, and I'll let you guys hear this for a second.
A large part of the population in the world doesn't have access to bank accounts. And even if it does have access to bank accounts, those are extremely expensive. It's expensive to make payments, wirements, international payments. So I think one of the big motivations for this new technology, right, because Agustin is asking why, is that there's huge financial exclusion, and these technologies have proven to increase financial inclusion enormously. So I think you have to look broadly around the world. I think this is one motivation, and I think the Ripple example is one example, and Norman has talked about that, is that international payments are very expensive, and the structure is not very well built. And
so this gentleman is actually talking to or mentioning Augustin Carsons, who's pretty much the head of the Bank for International Settlements. And this gentleman, Tobias, is financial counselor and director at the International Monetary Fund. And he is basically saying, Ripple, as an example within this, banking the unbanked, inclusivity, some of the same things that we always hear. Again, this gentleman, alongside with Tommaso, who is another author of this just very, very recent multi-currency exchange and contracting platform, putting out this bullet train verbiage, which we have heard before, and talking about fiat essentially being an IOU or a promise to pay. I just find it interesting that essentially the XRPL is kind of an IOU-based issuance ledger. So probably nothing there. Robert Townsend as well with the Massachusetts Institute of Technology is another one of those authors. And he goes deeply into XRP within this and the use cases, kind of an exploration around what that looks like. And same thing with Stellar. This is 4 years old, though, this one. So, take that however you want to take it. Moving on, though, LG ready to make an NFT push as it seeks blockchain-savvy chief technology officers. They give a shout-out to Hedera in here, if you're not aware. Their smart lab, I think it's, or the LG Art Lab, actually built on top of Hedera services through their smart TVs, which is pretty cool, and they're hiring 2 CTOs as well. This is kind of the mess that occurred today. This is the stuff that I find extremely interesting, though. This rhetoric that we're all being, forced to swallow, being shoved down our throats. And you talk about manipulation in media. This is 100% an example of that. So this is Forbes and Forbes' digital assets portion through their media. And it's a senior contributor at Forbes Digital Assets. Here's the headline. Mass panic triggers $1 trillion crypto price crash and short squeeze warning as FTX's FTT goes into free fall, dragging down Bitcoin, Ethereum, BNB, XRP, Solana, Cardano, and Dogecoin. Read that first line. Mass panic triggers $1 trillion crypto price crash. We did not have a $1 trillion loss in market cap in the crypto market cap today. To put this into context for you guys, we went from 992 billion to 873 billion where we're sitting at right now. Worst case scenario, 828. So we had about 150 billion wiped off the market. But Forbes Digital Assets likes telling people to create and spread that fear narrative and certainly add to the manipulation of this market that mass panic triggered a $1 trillion crypto price crash. Now you get into the clickbait here, and then it says, oh no, that's not the case. It just followed underneath the $1 trillion mark. So just very much so pay attention to these news articles News articles that come out, because the majority of these things you see through CoinDesk, Cointelegraph, even Forbes digital assets are always skewed under, I don't know, just increasing the fear narrative, everything else that's going on right now. You can see cryptocurrency slide as worries about FTX fester. Now, I do think this is a gigantic deal, though. Dread Bongo actually retweeted a couple of things that I found very interesting today. The first one is this. This is from Degen Trading. I'm not aware of this individual on Twitter, but interesting thread. Contagion is here. Let me show you how we are all completely fucked. And this is a thread. FTX accepting the bailout means that they effectively have a hole. Sure, CZ will bail out FTX, but he's not going to bail out Alameda. CZ Binance, please let me know if I'm wrong. Alameda has been going out and borrowing from all the lenders by giving FTT as collateral. CZ will probably let it go to zero. This means the lenders are underwater. They are now illiquid. They now own a liquid FTT that CZ is perfectly happy to let go to zero. The two biggest lenders, BlockFi and Genesis, probably have a $10 billion balance sheet. How much of that was lent to Alameda? At least a few billion. Since Alameda is not being bailed out, the lenders will have to absorb the full hit, but they just got wrecked by 3AC and the miners. At this point, I expect the lenders to go under. Who deposited to them? We're going to see a credit contraction of at least $10 billion within the space. Expect all Sol or Solana and Sam coins to be dumped to oblivion by lenders trying to get any money back. We're going under. And I think there was a list of all the Alameda coins here. Yeah. Here's some of the Alameda research assets. Now, again, this is just an interesting thread that I found, but you can look Bitcoin, Ethereum, BNB, Solana, Uniswap, Leo, OKB, FTX, Aave, Huobi, Synthetics, Curve, 1inch, Compound, SushiSwap, Serum, Yearn Finance, Balance, Swipe. And, yep, I just found that thread interesting. And then another individual that Dread Bongo retweeted. So shout out to Dread Bongo. The dude has a fantastic Twitter. If you do not follow him on Twitter, I certainly recommend you doing so. He's been calling for lower lows for a while. Again, not financial advice from him. I'm just, and I posted earlier today, I'm like, I don't think we go lower, or I don't think that we go sub 14K. And this was like this morning. And then again, wrong. Well, we're not there yet, but I just replied to him and said, this tweet is aging extremely well. But he retweeted Yassine, I'm going to mispronounce the last name, Almandra, and basically, how is your day at the office? FTX secretly insolvent, BTC testing new lows, Alameda toast, Binance planning to acquire FTX, FTT down 80%, headed to zero, CZ announces proof of reserves, Suzu reemerges, Do Kwon and Martin Skelly on up only, Coinbase temporarily down. And you can see the whole market here as well. Put things in context for you guys, though. I mean, even back in June, this probably isn't going to load up at this point. But, yeah, it will. So, like I said, if you look at... well, I don't know why it's not showing. Quant was at like $43 earlier this year. I mean, Energy Web was at like a $68 million market cap. I know it sucks, guys. Let's watch this stuff play out. Again, I still am of the opinion there's multiple opportunities in this space right now, especially during... huge events such as this. I actually pulled up volume as well. Pulled up the 24-hour volume. Let me see if I might have to delete an indicator. But yeah, and this was glitching out on me earlier too. Let me switch it to daily and then go to weekly. So that's daily. This is weekly. You can look at these volume spikes and when they occur. I mean, this is the most volume that Bitcoin's had, since... oh man, November of 2021 when we basically peaked and double topped. So, yeah, interesting to pay attention. I mean, you can see here all the volume spikes that we've had. A lot of these are during peaks. Some of them are during capitulation moments, like back here in November 2018. Right after the capitulation moment in May of 2020, we had another, gigantic peak. And yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, just paying attention, trying to be a little bit patient. Really going to watch what the total crypto market cap does in correlation, because it looks like we are trying to hold support. I would love for us to potentially close the total crypto market cap around or above 890 billion, which is about 13 billion away right now. Definitely don't want to see candle body start closing below it. You know, we did it before, but we kind of recovered really, really quickly back in March of 2020. We did it again in December 2018, but yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Paying attention to everything right now. Like I said, you know, I'm hoping best case scenario that this may be that double bottom event that we've been looking for. But again, only time will tell. Things could get hairier. There are multiple opportunities out there in the space, especially during events like today. And, you know, there's going to be multiple opportunities moving forward in the future. And like I said, I still believe very much so that this space has an incredibly bright future. I plan to be here. I'm certainly willing to admit when I'm wrong with the local bottom stuff. It is what it is. I've been wrong before. I've been wrong on assets. I've been wrong on people. But it's about continuity, and days like today are the hardest days to do videos. But it is what it is, guys. I mean, this market is supposed to be volatile because you better believe that these powers that be do not want us to succeed, do not want us to be here. And I mean, even looking at let's see if I can find this for you guys. I posted this like really early this morning, and a lot of people were like, "You're reading this wrong. You don't understand." And it's like, okay, but this is the Bitcoin rich list. This is Bitcoin distribution. 2.11% of total addresses holding Bitcoin. 2.11% of total addresses hold 93.79% of the Bitcoin. So when you start seeing the, you know, BTC's totally decentralized rhetoric, or it's so spread out now that it's decentralized, you literally have about 94% of the Bitcoin out there right now being held by 2.11% of the individuals or the exchanges or the funds or X, Y, and Z. But still, that means if about 94% are held by 2% of the people, then about 98% are holding the bags, right? So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll talk to you guys when I talk to you. Thanks. Bye.